What's up, y'all? It's your boy Tevin Jameer back at it again with another episode of the Hate It or Love It podcast. And like I told y'all on Saturday's episode, I was going to hit y'all with a back-to-back, and then I was going to give you an episode this Tuesday. And to be honest, this episode isn't really going to be too much. It's going to be more like I said in Friday's episode. I wanted to do like a quick episode, like quick thoughts review on Power Book 4 Force Season 3 Episode 1. Basically just give y'all my thoughts on this episode and pretty much like maybe where I can see the rest of the season going and like where I think things are going to go as far as like the future of the Power universe. So this isn't going to be too long of an episode, but you know, I still wanted to give y'all my quick thoughts because y'all know I'm a big Power fan and I be trying to encourage y'all to watch Power. So, you know, the only way I can encourage y'all is by keep on talking about it. Y'all already know. But yeah, so this past Friday, Tommy finally came back to cancel Christmas, and y'all already know this is the final season for Book 4 Force. And like I spoke on other episodes of the podcast, this is the final season of Force, and then Tariq and Tommy are supposed to share Power Legacy together after this. So as far as this episode, I thought it was a pretty decent episode. It wasn't nothing too crazy. This kind of felt more like, well, okay, I'm going to say this, but like, I'm going to say this in a better way than I said. So, you know how like, if you guys have been watching my podcast for a while, when I did my Power Book 2 Season 4 review, I said that the first episode felt like a continuation of Season 3's finale. This basically felt, what I said about Book 2 Season 4's premiere, I was like, this is basically just Season 3 Episode 11. And I said that because it basically picked up where the finale of Season 3 ended, and like it was just basically the straight up aftermath of everything that happened in that finale. And I was kind of saying it in a bad way because it's like, okay, like this is a good episode. It is a good episode, but it's like this should have been done in Season 3, and now it feels like we have less of a storyline for Season 4. So it's like, you know, it seems like y'all were just tying up loose ends for Season 3 with not really much being like established for Season 4. I don't know if I'm saying it in the best way, but like that's just kind of how I felt about it. With Power Book 4 for Season 3, now this did kind of take the same approach. Like it was pretty much the aftermath of things that we seen in the Season 2 finale. But I feel like there was stuff to work with, and like they still had basically I'm saying they established enough stories for Season 3. They finished out everything that they had to finish with the last season's finale, but they also planted enough seeds for this season, you know, to feel like it'll have a coherent story. We're Book 2 Ghosts final season just kind of felt like they were just throwing stuff at the wall, and it didn't feel like there was like much of an establishing for the final season in the first episode. I feel like they did a better job at like tying up loose ends from last season, but establishing something for this season in this premiere. I know I said it all over the place, but I hope y'all understood what I was saying. So yeah, we quickly solved the whole Tommy and Mireya situation. You know, of all the people that thought, what's his name? Mireya's brother. I can't remember his name right now. His name escapes me. But Mireya's brother who kidnapped her at the end of last, what is his name? Miguel. So a lot of people thought that Miguel might have harmed Mireya, like, or something like that. Some people thought that he killed her, and to be honest, like, I was never in that camp. I'm like, why would he kill his sister? Like, I know this is the Power universe where we're used to seeing like family members like snake each other and stuff like that, but I didn't think he was gonna go that far, to be honest. We kind of solved the whole Miguel, Mireya, and Tommy situation pretty quickly, which Gary Lennon, the showrunner of Force, he already said that we would, you know, deal with that pretty quickly. But, you know, if anything, this episode kind of like, I am very invested in Tommy and Mireya's relationship, but if anything, this episode planted so many other seeds that I'm more interested in. You got the whole Tommy and Diamond's, partnership being on edge, and the fact that Tommy, because let's keep it real, Power Book 2 had a post-credit scene where Tariq was getting a call and he was saying like, send me the details, we're always family and stuff like that. Basically, let's keep it real, we know that's Tommy that called Tariq. Like, even though they didn't confirm it or anything, we know that it was Tommy basically saying like, Tariq, I need your help. So we already know the deal. It would be very surprising if it wasn't Tommy that called Tariq. So obviously Tommy and Diamond's relationship must go to the wayside so bad this season that he feels the need to call Tariq. It has to go that bad. So, Tommy and Diamond's partnership being on the rocks, that's something that's very interesting. You got the whole Shanti and Jannard storyline where Jannard, he's planning with Shanti to take over CBI, but he doesn't want to snake his brother, but she wants him to snake his brother, and let's keep it real, she wants to be on top. You got the whole Vic being a snitch storyline, and now he's stuck between Tommy, which surprisingly, Tommy is not going to kill him. He's basically going to keep him as an inside man with the feds. So like Vic being stuck in between. And then in my opinion, D-Mac's storyline is probably the most interesting in my opinion of what's going on right now. At the end of the series, at the end of last season, if you watched the show, D-Mac wound up killing I think the kid's name was Mad Dog, and he was the nephew of this gang leader named King Kilo or something like that. And last season, Jannard made a deal with King Kilo to hand D-Mac over to him when Kilo gets out of jail. But now in this episode, Kilo's basically like, nah, I want him dead today. And like, D-Mac, a lot of people hate D-Mac's character and they compare him to Tariq. I'm sorry. If you guys want me to make a defense video or a defense episode for D-Mac, like versus Tariq, like why I hated Tariq, but I can't hate D-Mac, I actually like D-Mac's character a lot. So like, look, y'all can get on me if you want to, but I actually defend D-Mac and I actually like his character a lot. Does he make a lot of stupid decisions? Yeah, but it kind of makes more sense for him than a character like Tariq when Tariq used to make dumb decisions. But like I said, if y'all want that defense episode or defense video, I will definitely make it. But D-Mac's storyline is really the most interesting in my opinion. He wants to be in the game, but everybody is trying to keep him out, while also at the same time he made a bad decision last season to where a whole gang leader wants him dead, and now it's like, in a way, he's gonna kind of be stuck in a world between Tommy and Jannard. And then not only that, but they didn't show up in this episode, or at least I don't remember them showing up. JP and Tommy's mom, like, they didn't show up this episode, but it is heavily speculated that JP is going to die sometime this season. So D-Mac is also going to have to deal with losing his father. So like, I feel like they're setting up a lot of good storylines for D-Mac in my opinion. And not to say that the other storylines aren't interesting, and not to say that Tommy's storyline isn't interesting, because I do feel like, him losing, the people he's somewhat grown close to in Chicago and having to rely on Tariq again and stuff like that. And eventually, let's keep it real, if he keeps losing relationships, he's going to need D-Mac on the team. So like, seeing Tommy lose everything but still like go out swinging with, the people that he do got, I do think that is going to be interesting, but I'm not going to lie to y'all. D-Mac definitely has the most interesting storyline so far of everybody this season, in my opinion. So yeah, as far as like predictions for the rest of this season, I kind of already said some of them. Like, I do think Tommy and Diamond are going to fall out. It is going to be sad, but honestly, I guess I can go into some death predictions. I think D-Mac is going to stay alive, to be honest. I think he's going to be a big character in Power Legacy. A lot of people were saying that Brayden is going to be Tariq's Tommy, but to be honest, I think they're setting up more for D-Mac to be Tariq's Tommy. I really do think Tariq and D-Mac are going to wind up like being the new Ghost and Tommy, because especially since I have seen this one video, I forget I think Machiavelli Mills, I think that's his name, somebody that makes like videos on power and stuff like that. They were talking about how, if you really think about it, D-Mac is kind of like almost like what we could envision a young Tommy being like, and he moves kind of like how Tommy moves, so like it kind of makes sense that, as much as I don't think Tariq is really like Ghost, Tariq is the new Ghost and D-Mac could be the new Tommy. And Brayden, it's up in the air on whether he's really even going to come back for Legacy, but maybe, his actor is not supposed to say anything. But if Brayden does come back to Legacy, who knows if he's even going to be a big role or anything like that. So as of right now, it's really looking like D-Mac could be the new Tommy. So, I don't think he's going to die. I think he's going to stay pretty safe. Mireya, there's a chance that she could die, but at the same time, it would be so predictable. It would be so predictable to the point it would actually piss me off. I think I said it before in an episode. The Power universe, as much as I love the universe, they do replay the same themes over and over and over again. If somebody is pregnant, just please stop having pregnancy storylines, because the baby's never coming and the person that's having the baby either loses it or dies. Like, please stop with the pregnancy storylines. Stop with the dads or sons or moms or daughters, like the parent and child killing each other storyline. We've seen that time and time again. Like, please stop. There's just plenty of reused, recycled storylines in the Power universe. As much as I love it, I have to admit that that's how it be. So it really do get annoying. And Mireya, there's a theory out there that she's pregnant, which most likely she probably is, to be honest. But it's like, if she is pregnant, can we please stop, bro? Like, if she's pregnant, can we just keep her alive this time? Because if she winds up dying, y'all better not ever make another pregnant character again unless you're going to keep her alive. Because at this point, we're all just kind of tired of seeing this type of storyline in this universe. Do I ultimately think Mireya is going to die or not? I actually do think she could carry over into Legacy. But, I'm still also like keeping my expectations at a level where I know the Power universe is usually at. So like, I do think she is going to stay alive, but I'm still going to keep it leveled. If she does die, like, I wouldn't be surprised. I think now what I think is going to happen, ain't no way both CBI brothers are going to die. If Jannard dies, Diamond is going to live. If Diamond dies, Jannard is going to live. So what I think is going to happen, to be honest, I think of the two, Jannard may get locked up, and Diamond, I actually think Diamond's the one that's ultimately going to die. I know a lot of people want to see Jannard die, and maybe Jannard will die, but I strongly believe that one is going to stay alive and one is going to die. So either way, I think that's what's going to happen. But I do think Diamond is going to be the one that ultimately dies, probably saving his brother, or probably, like, I don't know. But I do think ultimately Diamond is going to die, and I don't think Jannard's going to have a happy ending either. There is a chance that Jannard could get locked up. I don't think both brothers are going to die, but I do think both of them are going to have an unhappy ending, if you ask me. So yeah, that's just kind of where I stand on that. I don't definitively know which one is going to live or die, but my money is more on Diamond dying and Jannard getting locked up or something like that. Because I do think the feds deserve some type of win. I think that's the one thing we got to remember. The feds got to get some type of win, especially if Tommy is going to leave Chicago and probably won't come back. They got to get some type of win. So I think Jannard is going to get locked up, and I do think Diamond is going to die. But if something else happens, won't be too surprised about that. As far as Miguel, I actually think Miguel is, I guess what you could say, is a happy ending. I think Miguel is going to get somewhat of a happy ending where to be honest, I think Tommy and Tariq are going to go off to wherever they go off in Legacy, and they're probably going to have a working relationship with Miguel back in Chicago. Somebody got to have a working relationship with Tommy back in Chicago, because Tommy wants to take over he wants to take over everything. So he got to have like some type of connection to, he got to have some type of connection back to Chicago in some way, shape, or form. Just like how Tariq, even if he goes somewhere else, he still got that connection in New York through Braden and Effie and them. So, like, you know, they got to have some type of connection still back to Chicago. And I think Miguel is going to stay that connection unless, you know, D-Mac doesn't go on to doesn't go on to Legacy and he stays back in Chicago, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. Of all the people that I think is going to stay back and be Tommy's connection to Chicago, I think it is going to be Miguel. As far as Tommy's mom, I do think she is going to stay back in Chicago. I don't think she's going to die. I feel like, nah. If Kate dies, it's either going to be caught in the crossfire or either she has a drug overdose. I feel like it's going to be one of those two. As far as JP, a lot of people found a lot of good evidence that he's going to die, so I'm going to assume he's going to die. And as far as Shanti, she's definitely dying. Like, I don't see any reality where Shanti is still alive by the end of the season. But then again, I said that about characters in Ghost, and most of the main cast survived. So who knows? But I feel like Shanti is too much of a snake. Like, she is too much. But then again, I also said that about Drew. I also said that about Effie. I'm just going to say definitively that I think Shanti is going to die. If she is still alive by the end of this season, then that will be complete, utter BS. Like, that will be complete, utter BS. Ain't no way I can still see her being alive by the end of this series. And then besides that, the Flynn family. We still got Claudia and we still got Vic. Same thing as Diamond and Jannard. I can't see both of them getting killed off. I do think Tommy is going to like circle back somehow and get Claudia dead. I mean, okay, actually, you know what? I think there is a chance that Claudia and Vic could both die. Because Vic, he kind of got himself in a very sticky situation, which, shout out to MovieBot. MovieBot actually has a theory that Vic is probably going to redeem himself in Tommy's eyes by the end of the series. And you know what? Claudia could die because I don't think she's making the series out alive. The way that she keeps slipping and being a snake throughout Tommy's like journey in Chicago, the way she keeps being a slippery snake, I don't see her surviving this. So I do think he is going to circle back and really get Claudia out of here for sure and make sure that she is really gone. I do think he is going to do that. But as far as Vic, I actually do believe MovieBot's theory where Vic is going to redeem himself in Tommy's eyes, and Vic actually, if Miguel isn't Tommy's, you know, Chicago connect, I do think Vic probably could be. I do think Vic could probably like redeem himself and eventually become like Tommy's tie back to Chicago. But there is also a chance that Vic wouldn't be his tie back to Chicago because ultimately Vic just wants to be out of the game. We see that now. Like, Vic just ultimately wants to be done with all of this. So who knows, man? Who knows? But I can see Claudia dying, but Vic, he's a character that he's kind of too much in the air. To be honest, I don't know what they'll do with him by the end of this series. He could die, or he could redeem himself and be Tommy's connect, or he could get another happy ending and actually leave town and like be fine. He could get the Drew ending. Who knows? But yeah. That's all the predictions that I have. I mean, only the first episode came out, and this first episode was more just like tying up loose ends. So like, yeah, I do think this is gonna be a pretty good season. I don't think this is gonna go down like book 2 Ghost. I think this final season is going to live up to a lot of expectations, and I do think it is going to set up a lot as far as legacy and maybe even Power Origins, because even in the first full trailer, Tommy was talking to D-Mac and he was like, you know, he brought up Kanan, and then D-Mac was like, who's Kanan? And Tommy was like, oh, well, that's a story for another day. So like, there's a little tease to Origins right there. So I feel like this season is going to set up a lot for the rest of the universe, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the post-credit scene for this show will be. Who knows, the post-credit scene could be our first glimpse at Power Origins, because Power does do a lot of post-credit scenes because, you know, they're trying to be like Marvel, so they set up their own, universe, and they set up their own post-credit scenes for future shows and stuff like that. But yeah, that's basically all I had to say as far as this. Power fans, tap in. Tell me what you think is going to happen for the rest of this season, who you think is going to live or die. And, just anything about Power, just leave down below. And with all that being said, you already know what it is. Tevin Jameer signing out. Catch y'all on the next one.